Hey guys, my name is Ozzy and today we're going to create an isometric replay icon using Inkscape. I'm going to show you guys how to set up the isometric grid, and later I'm going to show you guys how to use the perspective pet effects, which is one of the most powerful feature in Inkscape. And of course, I'm going to give a free download of these icons in the description down below. So yeah, let's get into the tutorial. So here we are in Inkscape interface. So first of all, what we want is to add a isometric grids. So let's go to the file, document properties. And on the grids, make sure the creation is set to axonometric grid, and let's add new, and let's size the grids units into pixels and spacing Y into 10 pixels, and the angle X and Z set to 30 pixels. So let's press 1 to have 1-to-1 zoom. So we're gonna create a line to create a shape like this. So let's draw with Bezier curve and make sure it's intersect with this big chunk of this grid. So 1, 2, and 3 points, and 1, 2 points. It this thing, make sure it's parallel to this one. I'm gonna use this one and back to its starting point. So we have this kind of shape, and right now let's get rid of the isometric grids because we don't really need it. So to the file, document properties, and let's under the grids menu just press remove. We don't really need it, and we have this kind of stuff that we can just have to set this thing aside. And right now let's create a circle because we're creating the replay buttons. So with the circle, hold Control plus Shift and create a perfect circle. You don't really see it because it's colored in white. Hold Shift, click on the black color palettes. So we have this black outlines, and the width and height set to 50 pixels like that. And now I'm just gonna zoom in, hold Control and roll up your mouse wheel. So make sure you set the stroke into 7.5 pixels like this. And now we're gonna add an inverted triangle, so it's looking like a replay buttons. So with this polygon tool, make sure you set the pentagon icon on and set the corners into 3 and the other stuff set to 0. Hold Control plus Shift and let's create the inverted triangle like that, and make sure the size, the width into 25 pixels, and we're gonna add a black fill. Hold Shift, click on this X besides the black color palettes, so we get rid of the outline. Hold Shift, click on this circle, and now we're gonna align it on horizontal axis, and we're gonna select this triangle, hold Control, drag it to the right, and make sure you have these snap centers to objects on like that. And now with your down arrow key, let's press it a couple of times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 times, I think it's good. And now with the Bezier curve tool, gonna draw like a line in the middle of the circle. So once again, make sure you turn on the snap center object on, so we have this kind of stuff. So let's left clicking on the circle, hold Control, drag it down, and rotate it on the counterclockwise 1, 2 steps like that, and press enter. And now on its starting points, you left clicking it again, hold Control and drag it to the right and back to its another starting points. So hold Shift, click on the circle, go to the pet, cut pet, and with this chunk over here, just delete that. So we have these replay buttons looking that we can work with. And now it's still an outline as you see. So go to the pet, stroke to pet, so it's become a pet like this. So let's select them both, go to the pet, union, like that. And now we have these 2 objects over here, and now we're gonna add like another objects, and it's become isometric podium for this icon over here. So with the circle icon, we create another perfect circle. So Control plus Shift and make it bigger like this, and make sure the size into 100 pixels. So we're gonna morph it so perspective is matched with this object over here. So let's go to the pet effects and add like a perspective slash envelope pad effects, and make sure the type you set that into perspective. And on the nodes tool, you'll see there is a like a blue frame around it, and on that blue frame there is this white nodes that you can edit around. So you want to do that, make sure you snap it here like that, here, here, and over here. We have something like this. So we have this kind of oval over here. So go to the pad, object to pad, so it become a pad. Let's press Ctrl+D to duplicate that and add a green color. And we're gonna press our down arrow key 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 10 times, and make sure it's selection to the bottom with this button over here. So we have this kind of two oval over here, and there is this weird gap over here that we want to diminish. So with our Bezier tool, make sure it's snap on this pad over here, on this black oval over here, and just back to its starter point, hold shift, click on this green object, go to the pad union. So yep, we're gonna do the same thing with this one. So we have these two green objects over here that we want to work with. So let's change the color into something like pinkish color. So let's select this black oval over here and just give it like this pinkish color over here, and the bottom one, it's just darker like that. So we have this podium over here that we can work with, and with this reply icon we can just morph it into this object. So this time step, we're gonna add perspective slash envelope pad effects. The type is perspective, and with its icon we're just morph it here. So let's finalize that. Pad, object to pad, so it become pad. And now you'll see that this icon is like have this weird shape, it's gonna morph to its sides. That's because the replay buttons is not really that symmetrical, so it's morphed into the other side of it. So let's press one again. We have this kinda arching arrow, so we're just gonna rotate it a little bit so it have symmetrical look like this. So to the pad, object to pad, Ctrl+D, give it a green color, and let's press your down arrow keys 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and just make it downward with this. We're gonna select this black replay buttons, Ctrl+D to duplicate it, hold shift, click on the green one, to the path difference, a path break apart. So we have this kind of stuff, that we can just play with. So yep, and now we're gonna do the same thing just like the oval one, which is diminish this gap over here, and just with the Bezier tool you select on this side. So we have this kind of object over here, and on this side again, click over here, and just back to its starting points, hold shift and click on this green object to the path union. So it's looking really neat, just like this one over here. Make sure you turn on the snapping, otherwise it just won't work like that. Now with this gap over here, I'm just gonna fill that, and I'm just gonna turn off the snapping because it just get in the way. Hold shift, click on this green object around it, and we have this kind of stuff. And on this object, we don't really need the green one, just delete that. And we have this kind of stuff that you can create with. So make sure you select this object, hold shift and select on this green object, and let's set the color into 10% gray. And on the other object, this green object and this one, make sure the color is set to 20% gray. And hold shift, click on the X because we don't really need it, as well as this one, don't really need the outline. And on this black replay color, just set it to white color, and just select them all, Ctrl+G to group them, hold shift and click on this pink oval and set the alignment into vertical and horizontal axis. And let's select this isometric replay buttons that we already just created, and just make it smaller like this, and you'll see that it's not really looking in the middle, right? So let's select it once again with our up arrow key. Just press it once again. So it's looking perfectly in the middle, but not to the right. And we select that, press Ctrl and drag it to the right a little bit. So we have something like this. And yeah, with this object over here, just press delete. We don't really need that anymore. So select this both, Ctrl+G to group them together. So yeah, in the end, you have something like this isometric ripple icon using Inkscape. So that's how you create the isometric icon with Inkscape. Hopefully you can utilize more with this technique. And don't forget to suggest any video in the future. And as always, thank you for your time.